Hey, my little goofballs, I'm S. Stan Wolf. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome if you're new. Today, we are going to cover Under a Rock Mount Zoomies, and we definitely are, I think we're in for a treat when it comes to actually having rideable creatures in Under a Rock. So mounts are officially a thing, and I think that is really going to make this just such a fun adventure to embark on with this game, because there are so many games that kind of just pass that over or they can't do it. I think one glaring example is Valheim. As we know, Valheim doesn't currently have mounts, so your land travel, you are kind of stuck to however fast your little guy can run. But you know, I think with Under a Rock taking this step, it's going to make exploration that much more. It's going to make it that much more of a task that you take on. And I'm sure at some point they may have fast travel, you know, back and forth between far parts of the island. But as you can see here, why would you want to rely on fast travel? Why would you want to just fake that to get back to your base real quick when you can quickly get back to your base anyway in the most fun way possible by like flying a dodo or getting on your Snugget that has a case of the zoomies? I think this is a wonderful, wonderful call. Remember, we didn't even know at first if mounts were going to be a thing, and then when the Snugget came up, that's when, you know, when the Snugget reveal happened, that's when a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to possibly ride these things? And then Dan and the crew come out and said, yes, they are going to be rideable. There's going to be a ton of creatures that are going to be, you can make into mounts so long as you can tame them. Now, not every single creature in the game is going to be tameable or rideable, but a very, very large amount of them will be, even down to our little grumpy ants. And I just think, and you can even see some of the mounts are even going to be able to jump in the water with you. You'll see here the Snugget actually jumping in the water and taking a swim with us very, very quickly, by the way. But I just think that is such a fun development and such a, kind of like I think it's really going to be a core feature. We are going to spend so much time on these creatures, whether it be just exploring, going down into caves, going to gather resources. We'll have to see if it's a system, say in Red Dead Redemption 2, you could take items that you found in the world, or, and you could transfer them over to your horse. Be interesting to see if Under a Rock actually lets you transfer different resources over to your mount, maybe to kind of help bear the load a little bit, kind of while you're making your way back to your settlement. I haven't seen anything about any weight stipulation yet. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Kind of like via ARC, that where you can only carry so much before you really, really start slowing down and can hardly move. I'm assuming, that'll probably be a thing in this. We know stamina will be a thing. And I just think this is a really, really fun development. Really, really, just, like I said, just to bring more of that, not wanting to skip right to fast points and fast travel, and instead take these guys. I think it's going to be a very fun addition to the game. But I digress. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the April we'll take a look at the April FAQ, which was pretty full. These guys are really, really on it with their communication, and their Discord members really, really are asking really insightful questions. A lot of things you would want to know about this announced survival game. So we'll go through here and we will kind of go back and forth and tell you what these guys have asked and what the dev team has responded to them. So basically we'll start right here, kind of at the beginning of April, with Blaze Valkerm. Question: will you have an option to turn off screen shake? Lots of indie games seem to overlook this as an option, and Dan said most likely, as we too are not a fan of head bob. Then we move down here. It says, Maury, where will the servers be located at? And Brakar said, that's pretty much your own choice. You can run your own dedicated server, either on your own hardware or rent a game server instance from one of the many companies providing this service. We are not planning to run official servers. Then Blaze said, any chance we get a closer look at the UI? Brakar said, it's just a prototype UI at the moment. We'll share once we have nailed it down and made it pretty. So that's another thing. We have not actually seen what the UI, what kind of UI they have in store for us just yet. Six said, so I know we'll be able to host dedicated servers, but will there be modding capabilities to make those servers unique? I feel like there is a massive hole in the gaming industry right now. And Brakar said, our goal is to gradually open for a lot of modding. Anything specific you are looking for in terms of modding? And so that's pretty neat. They are definitely open. They're definitely open to modding as far as the beginning of April goes, and as far as it seems like they've been pretty friendly as far as modding goes. Let's see here. RZR33 says, would quality of life also entail accessibility, e.g. colorblind modes, arachnophobia slider, etc.? And Brakar said, as much as we can manage to implement, yes, and hopefully build upon over time. And, you know, this is actually leaping forward to kind of towards the end of April. Dan actually shared a tweet going over some of the different colorblind modes, and they were asking what helps the most, and they were asking people that are, you know, across the spectrum of colorblindness what would help them the most. So this one, we can see active testing on it just as early as like last week. So that is pretty cool. Celine Silvana said, will peer-to-peer have a host tether like a few other games? And if it does, we'll be able to adjust the length of that host tether. And Brakar said no tether, and that is freaking awesome. How much did you hate it when you were on like a shared world and a server with one of your buddies in Ark, and once they got so far away from you, it would pull you back or fly you across the map, or like that was just totally stupid. And really good to hear that the Under a Rock devs are not planning on a tether. And then Celine Silvana asks, is the Under a Rock text a specific font? Dan said no, it's our own design, and that is a very cool font. Let's take a look down through here. We're getting still kind of towards the beginning of the month. Is there a wish list? P.S. But I did not find the game. We don't have a presence for wish listing on the PS Store yet. Sorry, so you will not see this on the PlayStation Store just yet. If you're out there looking for it, that was Raimi that asked that question. Nick Subtle said, I noticed in the latest mounts video, they look awesome by the way, that the color saturation seemed really high compared to the other videos and pictures. And then Dan said, the saturation is the same as it's always been. However, time of day and weather can change a lot of how the world looks. We'll most likely have some graphical options for the standard things like brightness and etc. You know, all that. Then Blaze says, what is the limit to mounts in the game? Meaning, will there be things that we cannot tame? And Brakar said, there are some creatures that might not be tameable, but those are likely to be a select few edge cases. Most creatures will be possible to tame. Subject said, specifically, how many tames and companions you can have depends on your skill level in animal handling. Was asking if that was correct, and Brakar said there will be some limitations tied into your creature handling skill, mostly because we need to limit how many you can bring around you in the world due to performance reasons and all. That said, stabling companions is something we'll be looking into. That would be really cool, especially if we end up getting introduced to some kind of horse creature or cow creature, be able to stable them, or kind of like herd them up with fencing and being able to put them up, and so they don't wander off on you. I think that would be really cool. Even if it's an option like where they actually to help them with limitations tied to performance. Even if the animal disappears, like while it's quote unquote being stabled, that would be really cool too. So you don't have to choose between what animals, what animal you're getting rid of. Sean X said, is there any chance to participate in any beta or alpha versions? I saw the trailer of the game and I think it will be a great survival game. And Dan said, as of April 11th, we're not ready for testing yet, but as soon as we are, we will announce it here first. Stick around and check the FAQ for any questions. And let's see here, we're going on to right around April 12th. It says, 3Up Moon says, now I'm curious, will there be squids in the game? And Dan said, we'll reveal more on the depths of Under a Rock as we refine it. There is lots to discover there, though, so that is pretty cool as far as the depths go and what lurks underneath the surface. Selena Silvina asks, will character clothing be something we can find new recipes to craft within the world? Will it be something we can layer? And Dan said, there are things the player will hopefully find in the world that will add to the list of customizations you can do. A winky face. So that's pretty cool stuff that we're going to be able to actually, be able to find out there in the wild. Then Pachula5 said, I was wondering, are body types, the hair, clothes styles independent in the sense of being able to choose a more feminine body type with a masculine haircut or vice versa? And Dan said, all hairstyles, beard, etc. are unisex and work for both body styles. So that's cool. Let's see, getting down to about right at the middle of the month, Maxie said, what if it falls on us? Would it be able to kill us, or is that part of the game not matter much? Unknown right now. We'll see with testing what feels right. So let's see, I'm thinking Maxie said, that's why I'm addicted to Valheim. Okay, will trees be able to kill us? What I mean is, if it falls on us, will it be able to kill us, or is that kind of part of the game that won't matter? And Dan says, unknown right now. We'll see with testing what feels right. Awesome Nuts, Team Fluff said, you will have a lot of builder creators ready to start, test, and break and rebuild when it's ready. Dan said, we have unlimited building, so we're looking forward to your cities. That is very, very cool. Let's see. Austin said, you guys, I think you are about to deliver a world that is going to be very much well-loved and appreciated. And Dan said, thank you so much. Hope we can deliver all we plan to do. We're very excited to share the world with you and see what everyone creates. And then let's see, Co-Driver Carl said, will there be unlockable cosmetics? We are planning to have things in the world that will open more options for cosmetics. So that's very, very cool. Will there be tea? Let's see, I don't know if anybody, will there be tea? There will be drinks you can brew in Under a Rock. So very, very cool on that. And let's see here. Okay, Sisquanamook said, hey there, I'm fairly new here, and so far a quiet observer, but there is something I'm eager to ask about building. I've read the FAQ article and been searching for the keyword building, and I love what I read so far, but there's still some questions about the topic building freedom, not where to build, but how, lingering in my mind. So hopefully you can answer some of those. Will it be possible, or have you thought about scaling or resizing, rotate objects in all directions, turn them around, flip them, etc., recoloring, positioning XYZ, not only moving the object horizontally, but also vertically, glitching, stacking to stack and glitch items on top of each other? And have you thought about terraforming, changing the surroundings, environments of the building, either by digging, flattening, raising the terrain with tools, or by having decorative, placeable items like trees, rocks, rivers, lakes, bushes, flowers, waterfalls, etc.? And some side questions: will there be a building limit on placeable items? 8, will we be able to remove structural decay, damage from others, wildlife included? And then they said, I hope it is all right if I reference a game here that have all these features to some extent, but it would also make it easier to explain more where I'm coming from. Wild Star, I've put 6,000 hours of building into that one and miss it dearly. Still hope to find a game that is able to bring that amount of freedom in building. So let's go ahead, and we have 7 has actually jumped in and has got a pretty good bit of answers to Sisquanamook's questions. It said, just to answer directly, this is what we currently have, and it is subject to change by 7. No scaling or resizing. Rotation is only around yaw, z, and up vector in 15-degree increments. There is no recoloring at the moment, but that is something we should be able to do, and I believe is in the roadmap. You can raise and lower some items, like a foundation you can start building higher, but a potted plant will not float in the air like bricks don't. Number 5, this is currently possible due to a glitch. 6, no terraforming. Even though our system does have that possibility, the implications of this could break and slow down the experience. Number 7, there is no limit on building. Number 8, there is no environmental damage, but weapon damage is still a thing. But if a wall gets destroyed, it will turn into a ghost wall, so you can easily recreate and repair it. You can toggle ghost building visibility on and off, so very, very cool. Follow-up to Sisquanamook's questions on that. After Realm said, will Under a Rock be moddable, or are there plans for modding later on? Dan said, yes, that is the plan. Let's see here. Hello, Ocean Rain. I have some questions on Steam, but I see that this is the place is much better for that. I don't know if this was asked before, but can we build a raft or a catamaran or anything that floats, not sinks? Dan said small boats will be a thing, and we can actually see in some of the screens that they've put out that you can see like almost like a Moana style raft there in the back, like a really, really cool, essentially catamaran style looking raft. Let's see here. We're getting a little bit closer to the end of the month. Arco said, will there be humanoid NPCs as enemies, companions, traders, etc.? Dan said, it has been discussed before. We will have humanoid enemies. Neanderthals have already been announced, so that's pretty freaking cool. Let's see. And then Arco said, nice, looking forward to them. I should probably start searching stuff before asking. Apologies. Dan said, no problem. There are some small nuggets of information that are spread around. Let's see. Arco said, also we have, okay, Dan said, also we have some wonderful mods around here, so feel free to ask them too. And I can concur, the Under a Rock Discord has been nothing but friendly and gracious to me anytime I've even popped in and asked a dumb question that's been answered 100 times. They do not make you feel dumb. I have not come across one person in the community of Under a Rock that has made me, feel like, no gatekeeping, anything like that. It's been a wonderfully positive experience so far, which, as we all know, can be kind of an anomaly, in the gaming experience and the shared worlds that we kind of participate in nowadays. So, Under a Rock's Discord is very, very refreshing. Let's see here, kind of going into the 20th, Sisquanamook said, on some screenshots we can see high mountains, forests, hills, etc. Are those just background clutter? Are they an indicator of the size of the playable area? And then this is really cool. Dan says, everything you see, you can go to. So those are not just placeholder mountains there in the background. Very, very fun. And then Sisquanamook said, very nice. So I'll know what I'll do first, because I can't help myself. Walking to the volcano, climbing up, jumping in, just to see if I can die or not. And then Dan said, try it and find out. And let's see here. Few questions from Selena Silvana, Team Snugs. Will we have a limit to how many creatures we can have tamed or claimed in our home area? Dan said, I can answer some of these. Yes, this is mainly due to performance and multiplayer, but we'll try to make it as many as we can. Number 2, will the creatures have a hitbox to where they can and can't fit through certain doorways or areas depending on their size? I really want to build a nice home or barn for all the creatures. And Dan said, yes, a Snonosaurus won't fit in a little house. Number 3, with base building, will there be a structural support required when building up and outwards, like a 2-story building or the rope bridges? Dan said, we're still testing this. We want building to be as free as possible, but also make sense. It will be forgiving though, so your creativity isn't taken away. And then Sylvana said, does ghost mode building have a limit to how many ghost structures are visible in a build? Dan said, currently there is no limit to how many you can build, but they do fade out over distance so things don't look too busy. We plan will also only be visible when in build mode, holding your tool. So that's very, very cool. And then number 5, Sylvana said, will there be a limit to how many ghost structures you can highlight for a build priority or a don't build label? Dan said, currently unknown until the full tagging system is implemented. Seven and I discussed this the other day, so it should be possible to take as many as you like. Coming up next, RZR said, I now have a question about ghost building that I'm unsure if it was already answered at some point. Do ghost blueprints have a priority in terms of what they build first if you're just slapping materials onto it? E.g., you put in a bunch of wood and such into a blueprint and it builds the floor first, then proportions of the wall before needing more resources. Dan says, currently blueprints are per asset, e.g. a foundation wall, so you can choose what to build first. Once we get into the larger compositions, we'll explore the function. We'll explore that functionality more. And then R3 said, I believe someone mentioned something on it at some point, but are we able to change the opacity, brightness, general colors of the ghost blueprints? And Dan said, again, Seven and I discussed custom ghost stuff yesterday, and it's something we would like to do and is possible with our system. Yeah, because, some people may want to make the ghost colors a bright red, or, kind of when they're looking to lay out their settlements and stuff. Then our RZ said, can I give coffee to my Sharky boy to make him hyper? And then Dan said, I'm sure coffee will have some fun side effects if we get time. And then kind of moving down here, we'll kind of move down here to moving more towards the end of the month. RZ said, I know you don't want mechanics to be a chore, but is health tied to an overall HP bar, or can you, for example, lose functionality in a limb and have to heal it some other way? Dan said, we're keeping it simple with health, but Brakar can go into more detail there. And then Brakar said, we'll talk more about this soon. The first thing that has been implemented is the standard overall HP bar, but there is a secondary design on top of that, which I believe will work quite well. Not quite ready yet, but soon. Very soon. Let's see. Subject said, with the character customization I'm already filled in on already, I did just have a question. With the characters we spend time creating, will a feature be implemented to essentially apply a backdrop and a download save feature to use outside of the game? Thanks social media profiles, video thumbnails, and the likes. Dan said, good idea. We will already have a photo mode, but having additional backdrops could be cool. That's very cool. Let's see here. So you get a Lucky 42 said, so you get a handheld screenshot. I want an in-game camera that actually takes a screenshot, not from your camera's perspective, but from that camera perspective. So you get a handheld screenshot. And Dan said, this we will have. That's pretty cool. He said, as long as we get time, yes, we will have that. Let's see here. We're getting closer to today. Let's see. Mama Bunny said, I was curious if there would be spiders in the game. And Dan said, most likely no, but... Oh, wait, I think that was answering to somebody else. Oh no, actually that is Dan answering. Mama Bunny said most likely no, but we do have our own little critters that hide in the shadows. And Mama Bunny said, thank you, I'm very afraid of spiders. If you ever decide to add them, please don't let them chase me while screeching. And let's see here. Let's see, some of these messages can't be loaded anymore. That's a big maybe. We'll just have to look into it as we're getting closer. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if somebody left or... because I'm not seeing the message being able to be loaded from a lot of questions this person must have asked. Yeah, I think we're getting close to the end here. Mickey freaking Mouse said, if you're using Jules Verne as inspiration for Under a Rock, does that mean the game will feature mysterious islandology, i.e. large creatures are small, small creatures are large? And then Dan said some things, yes. Let's see here. In terms of light sources, how many of them are varied in the sense of where they emit light? Maybe I want a light that just propels a cone of light 50 meters out instead of existing only in a radius around the source. Dan said lamps, torches, etc. will all have different ways of casting light. The necklace you wear even projects a very little light forward. That's cool. RZ also said, on that same note, can I augment them in some way? Maybe reshape the light source itself to change the projection shape, or would I be able to accomplish this just by building stuff in the way? And Dan said, not currently. Let's see. And then, okay, yeah, we will finish up here with, I cannot read the name, but we will go ahead and read the question. I have most popular questions. One, when will the game release? In the first half or second half of 2023. Dan said, we're not ready to talk about release dates just yet. Number two, do you have planned to add Russia? Oh, it must be Russian. Russian language in the game. I see English, China, but not Russian. We plan to have a lot more languages than listed on our Steam page. Most languages will be supported, including Russian. Let's see. 3, who are you and how many? Dan said, we are Nordic Trolls, a small 5-person indie studio made up of industry veterans. We have worked on many games in the past. Number 4, I've seen a trailer and videos on this game, but I have one question. Quality in this game is high. Why you have an advertising company? Dan said, because we're still in very early development. The teasers we have released so far are more development progress videos. Marketing will come when we have more gameplay to show. And then above what you job right now and how many percent game is ready? What percentage of the game is ready? And Dan said, that is a difficult question to answer. We have a lot of core systems in place. However, we have a lot of polish to do, and we need to make the game fun and add content. Currently, we're working on multiple things at the same time: character customization, harvesting, additional construction logic, etc. At the same time, we're creating new creatures and assets for the world and refining the procedural world generation. Hopes that answers your questions. And I think that's answered a lot of our questions. That was a very, very productive question and answer section for Under a Rock for the month of April. And we will come back again and try to compile a lot of these for what May entails. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more questions because they'll undoubtedly be sharing a lot more as May gets here and summer gets here. So definitely subscribe if you're interested in this little very, very just out of nowhere fun title that a lot of us are following now. And yep, thank you guys for stopping by, and leave your questions down below. Sometimes the devs stop by, sometimes people from Discord actually stop by, and they can maybe answer some of your questions in the comments section here. So let us know if you are excited for Under a Rock. Don't forget, you can wish list this on Steam right now. Link will be down below. And yeah, thank you guys. I will catch you in the next video. See ya.